So I just thought, okay, why don't we kind of actually just do an interaction where you could just actually speak up regarding what all the factors that you considered. So it's been some time, and what all factors you considered before you got into the markets full time, and what
Okay.
all others also need to consider before they too get into full time trading. So some things like that.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just give you a brief background first so that people can also
Yeah,
have understanding.
sure.
Yeah. So I had been trading for say around 4 years, but I joined Livelong last year in March when the lockdown and all started. So it
Okay.
gave me an opportunity to learn and connect. So earlier when I was doing it, it was like random stuff.
Okay.
Pick up any stock, do anything, or like whatever speculation goes on in the market. So
Okay.
I was doing according to that, and I lost a lot of money during that period. And when I did the course, I started practicing. And the best thing that I learned was risk to reward, how to cut
Nice.
down your risks. Earlier, all those things I never took into account when I was trading.
Okay.
So from March till June this year, I started testing a few things, started learning, tested a few things what works for me. I started doing intraday also. I did positional trading also. I tried options also. Then somewhere in June, I quit my job in March or April, and I had a notice period. And in June, I started full time trading.
Got it. Got it.
So what was my thought process? I would say is that whatever the time I was investing in my employment,
Okay.
that was too much. So I think most of the people have long working hours, so it was quite regular for me.
Okay.
So and I had started doing well in trading,
Mm.
but I used to miss out on a lot of opportunities because of my work. So
Okay.
I think I had marked levels. I used to keep levels marked whenever I was free,
Mm.
but I could not take that trade because I was busy.
Got it.
And I thought that when I'm doing well, I've identified few stocks which are doing well and everything is going well. Why not put in those efforts full time?
Got it.
So
Got
I
it.
did a analysis of, I think if I put in more efforts in this, will I be able to get enough of what I am earning at the moment? So I thought that that was the answer was yes, that was the first thing.
Okay.
And I always see independence is like everyone wants to be independent. So that is also a thing.
Definitely. And in fact, like you are actually kind of coming from the finance background itself.
Yeah, so I'm a CA by profession.
Okay.
I was working in the Big Four for say last 5 years in
Okay.
taxation. I wasn't doing finance, yeah, but I always liked finance, and I from my earliest age I wanted a job in finance, but
Okay.
I never got it. I got a career in tax, and I had never got a request to then switch.
Got it. Got it. So okay. So one question has like, see, usually like, yeah, I have a lot of friends who actually kind of got into full time trading. That is like after maybe 1 year of work, or after retiring from their regular job, retiring from the Gulf. So all these things. See, as far as you are personally concerned, like it takes a lot of courage to kind of actually step out uh, from the comfort of a well-paying
Yeah,
job, especially when
yeah,
you have a family, right?
yeah.
So what about that? Like, so how did you convince?
See, I honestly, I'll tell you, it was quite a tough decision for me. So I have a lot of things going on.
Okay.
I have a family, my wife, and I've recently purchased a house also. So my wife is working.
Okay.
So she also encouraged me. So she was seeing how much efforts I was putting in. So more than the effort I used to put in my employment. So you always have to that do that work.
Yeah.
But I was attending so many seminars.
Mhm.
Over the weekend, I was looking at charts. I was
Okay.
marking levels. So he said that why don't you do it full time? And she encouraged me. And one thing was that I always thought that if I give it a try for say 6 months, always see you can't judge a performance say in 1 or 2 months. Trading is never that easy. So you
Yeah.
need to give it
Yeah.
time. So I thought
Mm.
I should give it at least 6 months.
Mm.
After that, I can again get into a job. If that
Okay.
doesn't work, that opportunity is always there. But
Mm.
if I don't do it right now, So in future, I won't be able to. So I will regret it later. So I had that opportunity. My family was encouraging me. So I thought it's a good thing. I should try it. And apart from that, earlier I used to do only positional trading. Now I'm able to do intraday also. Now I'm able to look at commodities also.
Yeah,
So there are a lot
you're
of things.
doing majorly in commodities these days, I guess, right? In natural gas.
No, I'm doing all commodities. I'm doing equities also. So I start from say 8:30 in the morning. Yeah, 10 from 3:30 to 5:30 is a break because I use Motilal. So I basically not 5:30 at 5 I start looking at the commodity charts
Okay. Okay.
where the opportunity is arising.
Okay.
Then I start from 5:30.
Okay. So this is
So
actually a
in
general
between there is a
reminder
breaks.
that trading is kind of, see, usually people kind of project trading to be pretty easy. So this is actually kind of a gentle reminder that trading is even more tougher than a 9 to 5.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, but a few things that I find quite interesting is that once you start trading, you build some quite good habits in your personal life also. So you
Okay.
become quite relaxed. You're not that aggressive. You you calm down a bit. Yeah, you don't take hasty decisions in life also. And that is what changes I'm seeing in myself.
Mm. You look at risk reward ratios for everything. So let it be your flat purchase. You must have definitely thought about everything, right?
So that's been a headache for me. So I'll tell you, I bought. Let's not go into that, but yeah, I bought it in a scheme, but I have a dispute going on with a builder, with the
Okay.
builder for that. Yeah, but fine. Yeah, I looked at it. It was a good purchase considering I'm in Gurgaon. Yeah, and
Okay.
I have a good period of yeah.
So how do you diversify your risk? Your risk is basically being diversified across equity, equity positional, intraday commodities, and I guess you're trading equity intraday also, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I see. Basically, I do is what strategy I've developed is that I do options in
Okay.
equities, but it depends on the time of the month. So if I am in the beginning of the month, if I'm getting a pretty good setup,
Okay.
then I'll buy options naked.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
say at the end of the current month, if I'm entering into the options for next month, I'll buy naked
Okay.
up till the 10th of the month, and from 10th onwards I'll try and hedge my positions. So it's always a covered position whether it's long or short.
Got
And for the next say after 15, most of my positions would be reverse. I would start selling.
mm, mm,
That
got
is how I do it. And for commodities my account is different, and for trading my account is different, and for investment I have a different account. I don't mix that up.
that's the best way. Why? Because then you can actually get a sense of understanding of the individual performance also.
Yeah,
So like last 2 months back and all, equity, not 2 months, like before the last quarter. So in fact, like morning markets, equity intraday, every time I lose money, then evening markets I used to use just to compensate for the losses. That was the kind of thing. And I stopped equity intraday completely because markets are not favoring it. So stopped equity intraday. So right now it is fine.
yeah, going well. Yeah,
Yeah.
markets are
So the markets have been pretty good also. In
yeah.
fact, I suppose that everybody who would have started with swing, definitely, I really doubt if somebody is actually taking a loss until and unless he is very impatient. That is coming
Yeah, yeah.
too early. So in
So
fact,
I
yeah,
did I did intraday myself. So I tried intraday bank nifty and Nifty also,
okay.
and it didn't work for me that well because what I was doing is I was trying to enter that every day,
Mm, mm, mm,
and it was mostly buying. So it was like I would say gain 100 on one day and lose 150 on the other, and overall
mm.
it was a loss. So
Okay.
then I identified that I should not trade bank nifty buying every day.
Mm.
It's now I trade bank nifty only on breakouts.
Got it. Got
That's so it gave a range breakout in the past 3 days,
it. Mm.
and
Yeah.
I traded on past 3 days. I did trade in bank nifty. Otherwise, I will stay aside from bank nifty
Got it.
buying especially.
That's great. So in fact, like so this last month has been kind of pretty good for trend trading. In fact,
Yeah.
so especially in Bank Nifty, we were getting some amazing trending moves. So banking sector stocks also like did really well. So that was kind of pretty amazing. So and so has like some questions for you. Like so let's say that okay. So let's say that I'm starting. I'm a working employee. Okay, I'm a working employee. So there are many people who get into the markets, time into the markets even before they have actually traded the markets like at least for a 2 years with some consistency. So what is your take on that? So they feel okay after getting into the markets they can become a full-time trader. They'll be very comfortable if they quit their job. But while they're pursuing their job itself, they won't be doing good. As in, so your case is that okay, you have been doing good in the markets, you were doing your job, then you got into the markets. However, some people think, okay, I'm doing my job, that is why I'm not able to do well in the markets. Then what they do is they quit their job, then they get into full-time trading, then they realize, okay, now I'm not able to do good still. Then they'll search for jobs, which is very tough in the present corona age. So what is your take?
Definitely. So my tip is that I think first you should understand whether you are enjoying doing it, and if you're getting consistent results for some time. Say you might do well for 2 months because the market is doing well,
Okay.
right? And when the market reverses, so basically I think people are like, there are people have a mentality only to buy or only to sell. There are a few people who feel comfortable only buying and only selling. And if you are comfortable with that, you lose when the trend reverses,
True.
because you'll in a downward trend also you'll start buying. You will always look for reversals and you'll lose capital. So I think you should have seen at least 2-3 phases of the market, and if you are comfortable with that and you are able to make profits in all those kinds of markets, and you are then also enjoying it, and you are able to get consistent return, then you should definitely take up uh,
Got it.
full time. Yeah.
So, so then one question. So now people kind of actually ask me like, what do I find my comfort in trading? So I personally like right now, like the maximum comfort we get in doing option strategies and positional trades because markets has been kind of pretty much trendy. Then comes intraday trading. Okay. Now there could be a usual question. Now you are someone. Okay. So let's say that a complete newbie is actually approaching you, asking this question.
Mm.
Okay. What should I start off with? Should I get into options buying? Should I get into option selling? Should I get into commodities? Should I get into index trading or equity? So what would you say? So if you have
First of all, I think my suggestion would be to first get into equity positional. That would be the most challenging for a beginner. You will be able to understand whether you are able to do well. Plus, you will have some comfort of time also.
Got it.
Right, because in positional, it might be that trend reverses the day you buy, but you are able to hold on to it for some time. Plus, you can obviously your capital at risk would be less.
True.
That is very important. So I think as a beginner, you should never get into options or futures and options. You should never get into.
True.
That is one thing. And commodity is purely intraday. So I think you should stay away from that also. First, I think you should start with equities. Then slowly, when you get into it, then you can start positional. I think options should be the last thing you should do, because I think options are the most risky thing. Yeah, because it has a lot of bearings. Options value increases or decreases now, not only as per the fundamental, but I think it's more of speculation also, because options value rise drastically. Even if you see how they are valued, it would not justify the valuation of the option.
True.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
So I think equity is the best. Then you can, when you are comfortable, then you can start with other segments.
Okay. So now, like from my personal experience, I find price action working the best in forex currencies. After that comes commodities, and after that comes index, and after that comes equity. So, what is your observation?
So currencies, I'm not trading. So
Okay.
I think equity price index works pretty well.
Okay.
And commodities I've been doing, say, for 1.5 months consistently. So when I joined in March last year, I did crude trading for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I stopped it. It was a hit and a miss. Some days I would profit, sometimes I would lose. So I think I have grown as a trader in that. So I'm a bit mature. So what mistake I used to do was that I would gain a lot, then I would lose that amount
Okay.
because I would risk a lot.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So, but I think for price action works well in commodities a lot.
True.
It's pretty good in commodities and
True.
in equities also. But I think in equities, what you need to take care of news going on with those stocks, particular sectors, with the government coming up with all those schemes and all. Everything every day something new is coming up. So your stock might react differently based on the news. So I think you should have knowledge of at least the stocks you are looking into, what is going on in that sector or the stock. I think that is very important.
True. Definitely. Yeah, that's kind of pretty true. Then, okay. So the next question I kind of actually have is that talking about something like an emergency fund, right? So I guess like last time we spoke before you got into full-time trading, we were speaking
Yeah, yeah.
about, right, keeping aside an emergency fund. So when you keep aside an emergency fund, what are the things that we should have in our mind first place? What are the things that go through
See,
your
see, I think everyone's emergency fund would depend on their situation. So someone would have their parents as an emergency fund, but yeah, yeah, but if you want to plan, I think generally what in financial background they say that is that at least your 6 month salary should be there as an emergency. But I think emergency fund is quite important because you don't know if you're trading, especially what will be your situation. I think 1 month you might gain a lot, other month might be there is no profit, no loss, or something like that. So emergency fund would come in handy at that time. So it is always important to have emergency fund. You should plan for it. And what I would say is I say that I have an emergency fund, and my definition of emergency fund is a bit different also. So what I do is when I trade, so if I earn 100, I will what I'll do is I'll not withdraw 100, I'll withdraw what my expenses are, and I'll reinvest that in some fundamentally strong stocks for long term.
Okay.
So that is a practice that I have built. So I don't want to withdraw all my profits. So what I do is if I earn 100, I'll reinvest 40, and those shares would be such that those are not trading stocks. It would be say for 4 to 5 years I would stay invested on those.
And you can use that as your collateral once again.
Yeah, definitely that helps.
Like you can more or less generate 5-6% pretty smooth by doing covered calls itself, right?
Yeah, right.
So
plus you have those automated in Motilal. You have, I think, you can pledge and take.
So pledging part is going to be pretty smooth in Motilal. But since you trade, like what I would say is you trade only commodities in Motilal, right?
Yeah, right.
You keep only that much capital. So like if you're trading, I suppose you must be trading on Sharoda, Fires.
I use Upstocks and
Upstocks. Okay. So you could keep the collateral in Upstocks. So Motilal, if you're keeping this thing long-term portfolio, you can actually do covered calls. Pledging is very easy in Motilal.
Okay.
So you can do all these covered calls, all those kind of things to generate some income. Or else, like if you want collateral for your intraday, that but you're not doing in options, no. So anyways, it's not a big.
Yeah, I'm not doing in Motilal. I'm doing in the other account.
Okay, got it. So that's great. So like that was great. So in fact, like so all the people have, I guess, like got a lot of idea related. Okay, what it takes. Now, can you please tell me a negative of getting into full-time trading? So you had talked about a lot of positives. So can you please tell me a negative?
So, negative for me is the long time sitting. So that was in the job also.
Okay.
That is the same thing, and I have a bit of health issues. That is why I also quit. I thought that it would be easy, but it's sitting for a long time. So to everyone, I would say is that you should get up at least an hour. You should walk for 5 minutes. Don't sit long.
Okay. Hello? Harsh, I guess we
It
lost your
will have
signal.
one thing.
Yeah, I
And
guess
I think,
instantly we just lost your network.
yeah,
Hello?
is it fine now?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I guess it was my problem. Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I would suggest is that get up every 1 hour, take care of your health if you're trading full time. So
Okay.
because I think it doesn't feel now, but in the long run, definitely might have some health issues.
Okay.
And I think apart from that, I do quite enjoy. So that is why I don't have any issues putting in long hours or looking
Okay.
out for or working on the weekend also. So sometimes my wife tells me you go to sleep because
Okay.
she's sleeping. Switch off your phone and go to sleep.
Okay.
Please don't irritate me. So
Okay.
that also happens. Yeah, I
Okay.
think long hours is something that you should take care.
Okay, fine. So, like, it seems that you're so peaceful. Like the way you speak, uh, the way you have conveyed all these points, it kind of clearly says that you're someone who is very peaceful in nature. So, do you do some kind of meditation, yoga, something like that?
No, 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 nothing as such. I think
Okay.
trading has taught me this. I was
Okay.
not that. I was quite aggressive. I used to lose my temper a lot,
Mm.
and I think I've gained patience. And
Mm-hmm.
I've gained patience from losing. I think because a lot of trades where your SL gets hit because of your impatience, that
Okay.
teaches you a lot.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, fine. That's pretty much great. So I guess like we have covered to all the points that we wanted to discuss. So is there any questions, any quick questions that you guys would like to ask? You can just let us know through
Yeah,
the chat.
sure.
Any quick questions? Okay. Okay. Is your target based or you look into opportunity day based? So I guess what he's trying to ask is like, do you have a monthly target or do you, or it depends?
See, I do have a monthly target.
Okay.
So my monthly target is like I would say minimum of what I was making while I was working. I
Okay.
want to make at least that much. But
Okay.
while I am trading, I'm not thinking about that.
Okay.
While I'm trading, I'm looking into the setup. What is my risk to reward,
Okay.
and how much I would gain or how much I would lose.
Fine.
So
So what?
everyone has a minimum target in mind that they want to. But my target is monthly, so I want to do that much monthly.
Got
But while I am taking positions, I don't look into that. I think if I look into that, I would take positions that would not fit or might take aggressive positions if I look into that thing while taking any entries.
got it. Okay, okay, great. So, one quick question. So, what do you think is an ideal, like when it kind of comes to the risk reward ratios, what is that you stick with usually on average? The
See, at least 2:1 in
okay,
commodities. When
okay,
I do commodities in the evening, it's I look at 2:1 at least
okay,
if there is a good setup.
okay,
And in equities, see, it depends at the time of the month because I do a lot of options,
okay,
right? So what I do is, if I even if I hedge, there
okay,
might be a situation that my risk to reward is 1:1.
okay, yeah,
But I have time for
mm,
that,
mm,
and if the stock doesn't go in that direction, I would gain on the other side,
mm.
and I'll switch to a different
Position.
strike price
Got it.
to cover that. So it's kind of adjustments that I do in equities, but
Mm.
in commodities I look at 2:1 at least.
Okay, got it.
Or if it is quite well, I would say not below 1:1.5:1,
Mm.
but I try and look at 2:1.
Fine, fine. Yeah. So, then like I have a okay, we have a question coming. So, what is your average daily screen time?
So I would say I start at 8:30
Okay.
until 10:30. It's so continuous, right? I take a break in between,
Mm.
and then again from 5:30 to, so depends on what setup I get.
Mm.
And I do watch a lot of TV series or web series. I do
So
watch a
you
lot
watch
of
it,
that.
you watch that alongside, I suppose.
No, 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 no. I don't watch that alongside. So it's on weekends or
Mm.
at the night. I do watch a lot of of web series. So screen time, I have not noticed, because if I notice, it would be quite alarming. So for all the social media, I put in alarms that I don't use it too much. I put in alarms for 15-20 minutes for the day.
Okay.
But apart from that, for trading and for web series, I think it's a lot of screen time. I've not measured it, but I think it's quite a lot.
Okay.
You can see from my specs.
Okay. Okay.
And par is also quite.
All of us have big specs.
Yeah, quite high.
So we have a question. How was your trading journey for 4 years before getting into full-time trading? Was it profitable or break even?
It was in loss. It was not profitable, or it was not break even.
Okay.
Say when I joined Livelong, or I started learning and all, before that it was huge losses. And I would say that after I joined, those losses started reducing, but before that it was in loss. I didn't make any profit overall, because I would lose more than I would gain, because I would risk a lot. That was the mistake I was doing, because I didn't know risk to reward.
See, the thing
didn't know.
Yeah, that is ultimately the thing. So it's not about joining Livelong. It is not about joining anywhere.
Yeah.
If you're putting in 1 rupee, you're taking a 1 rupee risk, you should make 2 or 3. That's it.
Yeah,
you can't
right.
put that. Whatever rubbish strategy you have, still it would work.
Yeah. But I was not looking at doing random trading, so that is why I lost a lot of money, and I was earning. So what happens is that once I blew up my account, and I thought that I would never trade again. I think that happens with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But after a while, you think that let's start. What is the issue there? Let's try. This time it will work. But it doesn't work until you have the knowledge, or you understand what you're doing.
True, definitely true. So in fact, see, I blew up my account twice. Okay, so first time I blew up completely because of no knowledge. Second time I blew up because of overconfidence.
Yeah.
So second time, okay, I figured out, okay, these things should be done. But then, like, once you started making small profits, you keep on increasing your risk.
Yeah.
You keep on increasing. Yeah.
I think you keep on increasing your risk, but risk to reward you still take into consideration as you grow. You risk a lot because you gained that much, so you can risk more. But I think you are risking in terms of percentage, you are risking the same amount then also.
Sure. So that's pretty much great. And in fact, if I ask you, okay, so that's so there's a lot of people who are looking up to you, right? So definitely, there's a lot of people who are looking up to become full-time traders, not tomorrow or day after tomorrow, but let's say in the next 5 years or next 4 years.
Yeah.
So if you want to say, okay, so definitely you must be mentioning about risk-reward ratios. You would be mentioning about the efforts, the kind of time you had to put into. You'd be mentioning about, okay, maintaining a journal, that is noting down your performance. As you said,
Definitely.
you can separate accounts for different.
Yeah.
So apart from that, something else that you would say.
Apart from that, I would say, apart from that, I would say is that if you're learning, if you're trying to get into full-time trading, when you journal, I think when you journal what you're trading or what mistake you've done, try and put in a rationale that what went wrong,
okay,
and how you can avoid that in future going forward.
Got it.
What will happen is that what most of us do, and because we are human, we do repeat mistakes. And even if you journal, you're going to repeat that mistake. It's not that you're not going to repeat that mistake. It is definitely going to happen, and I think it happens with everyone.
True. So
and I think what should happen is that you should reduce those mistakes. Is what I feel. And I think you should work on your mental aspect as well. I think you should, if you're trading, you should be quite calm, because sometimes there are volatile moves, and it happens to me every day, or whenever I'm doing intraday, it happens generally. So if it goes in the other direction, I will have a SL, but I will see that it's going in the other direction. Let's just exit. But if you have a good risk to reward, you've taken that much risk, you should wait for it, is what I feel. Because a lot of the times you will just in panic sell off, and might be that the trade reverses. So I think you should keep on improving. Look at markets when they are changing phases, how that works, and how you need to adjust your strategy in different phases of the market. You should learn that, and then only get into full-time trading if you are just starting.
Great. So that's pretty much great. So we have a very interesting question: which is easier, working in Big Four or trading? Keeping passion aside.
I think trading is better, I would say, because I'm doing it right now. So that is obvious. But if you're working in a big four, you all you know the pressure, you know how it works. You know how, especially so in taxation. I don't know if someone has worked in a big four, the pressure is quite huge, and what you are expected to do is, I think sometimes if you do a job description for that, I think it will fit into role of 2 to 3 people what you're doing alone. So yeah, I think trading is quite easier in that sense.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So I guess like this was like
I
one
think
of the.
I think Chinmay, yeah,
Chinmay is also working in the Big Four.
yeah, that is why I think he asked that, and he mentioned that he's doing taxation only.
He's also from the taxation. Cool. Okay, so that's pretty much great. So in fact, like I guess this was like pretty useful, pretty inspiring for each one of us. Okay, each person who attended, like we got to learn about your what do you say, rationals, what all you thinking, and
Yes.
so thank you. So is there anything you would like to conclude?
Yeah, I think Jayant has a
Yeah.
question. So whenever I trade, I think the question is to you, Hari.
Whenever I trade, I have an issue in executing. I have issue in executing losing trades. What's your suggestion? Okay, so something that we missed to say. So Jayant, like, see, don't expect all your trades to be winners. Okay, so in fact, like, if I take 10 trades, just 4 or 5 out of 10 would work out. So as our friend was mentioning regarding the risk reward ratio part, that is the only thing that is going to help you. So, okay, one last question, Harsh. So, what is the hit rate that you get for directional? So, right now.
Right now, so markets are doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So over the past, say, 1.5 months, it's around 75%.
Okay.
It's going well. And wherever I'm losing, so if it's say a naked position, I exit. If it's a covered position, I try and minimize the loss with adjusting. Yeah, but it's going pretty well. In commodities also, it's going pretty well, and in equities, it's I'm doing well at the moment. Let's see. I think.
Sure, definitely. So definitely, like hoping that, yeah. So hoping that you would definitely have a wonderful financial year, and yeah. So we have a long way to go further, and definitely. So as we were discussing on call, there are some things that we could actually definitely collaborate upon also.
Sure.
So we'll actually connect over call after this. Okay.
Sure.
So thank you. Thanks a lot, Harsh.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Eddie.
I
Thank
think,
you.
yeah, definitely we can work it out. We can plan it out sometime later. Sure. So thanks a lot. So I'll just get
Thank you.
back to you on a call. Sure. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Good day.
Thank you all.